This NASA documented 1975 Moonquake shows lunar surface shaped by moon tremors. This is what a new study shows. This is on Sputnik News. This is image from NASA Goddard Ernie Wright. When a tremor rocked the moon's surface January 3rd, 1975, it shook up scientists here on Earth just as well. A new study found the origins of the quake and that it is not the only one to strike there either, meaning the lunar surface is also shaped by the shake-ups, the earthquakes, or that is the moonquakes, not just by meteor impacts. A new study by a group of Indian geophysicists found striking evidence of surface-level moonquakes in the form of dislodged boulders that plunged into lunar craters when the ground beneath them rocked. This is new evidence presented in a paper published last month in the journal Geophysical Research Letters. That the moon experiences moonquakes is not new information, but a group of scientists at India's Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, the Indian Space Research Organization, and the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, has unearthed or unmooned some new evidence, the paper presented in Geophysical Research. When Apollo astronauts visited the moon in the late 1960s and early 1970s, they placed several seismometers. They left them there in order to monitor the satellites, that is, the moon's geology or moonology, the moon's terrain, while those seismometers found deep shaking inside the moon, roughly taking place every 27 days, which researchers dismiss as stress fractures caused by its orbit of the Earth. They also detected 28 shallow moon shakes between 1967 and 1977. I wonder why they dismiss them as being caused by the orbit of the moon around the Earth. I mean, even the Earth feels earthquakes, the gravitational pull of the moon on the Earth's water, and also the tectonic plates are affected by the moon's gravity. So why would the Earth not have such a reverse type of an effect on the moon? Anyway, that's what the scientists say. They said the moonquakes that occur at Laue crater 3rd January 1975 is the largest recorded moonquake, MW 4.1. According to the scientists, our analysis of high-resolution satellite images and topographic data obtained by NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter mission aided in the discovery of a set of young lobate scarps near the epicenter and its genetic link to the 1975 moonquake. The January 3rd tremor triggered co-seismic boulder avalanches on the interior walls of nearby impact craters, and it caused the formation of lobate scarps on the Laue crater, an impact site inside the massive Lawrence Basin, a 193-mile-wide impact crater on the far side of the moon. Quote, our study indicates that the lobate scarps in Laue crater are seismically active and their seismic activity could be further studied during future landing missions. This is what the scientists wrote. Lobate scarps are long, curvilinear structures interpreted to be tectonic in nature, the result of the thrust fault developed in rocks that are otherwise structurally sound. This is according to the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter camera website. Carla Segura tweets with a nice picture here showing the younger and older trails of boulders that have fallen and traversed around the plain. Research found that a strong moonquake in 1975 probably sent boulders tumbling down moon crater walls, came from a set of small cliffs on the edge of the Lawrence crater basin just above the northwest limb of the moon's visible side. So in other words, the scientists found that the moon's surface shakes too, and powerfully enough to affect the lunar landscape. Quote, everyone is curious to know the answer for this question. Is the moon currently geologically active? Yes, it is, end quote. P. Senthil Kumar, principal scientist at CSIR National Geophysical Research Institute in Hyderabad, India, said he was lead author of the study, telling phys.org, our finding of 3 generations of boulder avalanches provided important clues to their episodic origins. It's important to know if moonshakes occur periodically. Another study published earlier this year found that as the moon continues to lose heat left over from its formation 4.6 billion years ago, it is shrinking, forcing its crust to wrinkle like a raisin. Unlike the flexible skin on a grape, however, the moon's crust is brittle, causing it to break as the interior shrinks. This is what Thomas Waters, lead author of the paper and senior scientist in the Center for Earth and Planetary Studies at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, says in May press release about this discovery. He adds, this breakage results in thrust faults, where one section of crust is pushing up over an adjacent section. These faults resemble small stair-shaped cliffs or scarps when seen from the lunar surface. Each is roughly tens of yards high and a few miles long. But the Earth and Moon are not the only bodies in the solar system that experience earthquakes either. The U.S. Space Agency, NASA, has been tracking Mars quakes on the red planet with its InSight lander, aiming to discern the nature of Mars' interior and what's going on with planet Mars and its earthquakes. I'll leave links below for you for this on Sputnik News. Now here's a closer image of the Lunar Orbiter, Reconnaissance Orbiter from Arizona State University, and we see that the dislodged boulders have left tracks. The older ones have more faint tracks. But my question is, what causes the tracks to become fainter? As we know, there is no atmosphere on the moon, no oxygen, no air. So how are these tracks somehow fading away when there's nothing to cause that erosion, nothing to cause that rubbing off of the tracks whatsoever? Some of them have no tracks at all behind them. And the newer ones have, of course, the deeper tracks. That's my question. And here's, of course, one of the recent ones, rolling down, as we can see. Amazing. I'll leave links below for you for this. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.